Welcome back to another episode of Play Select. My name is Gold Mountain, and yes, we were in Japan, and while we were away, so much video game news happened. So in this episode, we're just gonna talk about it. Check it out. Okay, so some of our internet savvy, aka video game savvy viewers probably know this, but if you don't, that's okay, because you know the feeling that they got upon knowing this news is probably exactly how I feel right now. I'm super excited for this brand new game. It is called Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, a new Ninja Gaiden spin-off coming from Tecmo Koei by Concept Studios and Team Ninja. Now, if you don't know what Concept Studios is, let me tell you this. Mega Man, or aka Kenji Inafune-san, the creator of that studio, is now working with Team Ninja to bring you something called a ninja zombie game. This is exactly what video games were created for the sole purpose of bringing this type of game to us. Now, what can I say? There's a brand new cybernetic ninja named Yaiba who's gonna be the protagonist and the antagonist. Guess who is Ryu Hayabusa, the Dragon Ninja himself. Now, we really don't know much about it. We know it's gonna be out 2013, and also from what I've seen from the trailers, wow, the cel-shaded graphics on this game, you can very much tell that Inafune-san is very much a video game illustrator because the use of chiaroscuro is so nice with the splashes of zombie blood. It just brings out the modern MoMA artist in all of us. So I'm really looking forward to this, and so should you. Coming out right now, or at least released October the 9th, is Code of Princess for the 3DS, a brand new 3D beat-em-up RPG. Now, people have been talking about this game, but I don't think they know how awesome it is because it is pretty much a spiritual successor to the old Sega Saturn game, classic game, Guardian Heroes. Now, if you don't know what that game is, that game was famous for its fluid movement, awesome beat-em-up, and it's just so much fun, action-packed. You really felt like you were in the fight. Anyways, that being said, this is a brand new version and it features beautiful anime art, and also it is out right now that I mentioned. So, if you don't believe me, I'm just keeping it short because we actually have an interview right here, so please click on that if you want to know a lot more, because it's actually with the producer of the game, Nakajima-san, and we're friends. See, right here, I got his card right here. We talked to him, he looked me in the eye, and he never lied. I totally believe him as a gamer. This is something that you should really get into. This is a good game. Alright, you guys probably been following this game. You know what, it's a huge title, Dishonored, from Bethesda and Arcane Studios, coming out the 9th of October for the North American market. On Australian market and Japan, it's on the 11th, and also for the European market, the 12th. Now, I know exactly what I'll be doing tonight. I'm so gonna pick up a copy of this because I'm all about this. What is it? You guys know, but I'll just reiterate it. It's a stealth, first-person action adventure game with RPG elements. I mean, it's just as the director said, it's like getting a lunchbox full of nothing but chocolate ice cream, and it's still frozen and you can share with all your friends. There's so many things going on about this game. Now, because there's a lot of news about it, I'm just gonna talk about the things that I think are very, very cool. First of all, it's got 3-year pre-production, so this game is a long time coming. It's got the guys from Deus Ex. We have Harvey Smith and Ricardo Bain, and these guys were the creative teams and the designers for it. Speaking of Deus Ex, you can play it as stealth, or all competitive, or a combination of both. Now, if you're like me, you're gonna play the whole thing stealth, but this game actually encourages you to do otherwise. I mean, because they have a brand new gameplay mechanic, which is very, very interesting. And I'm thinking about it, I'm reading about it, I'm just like, wow. So they call it the chaos system. So instead of good or evil, because that stuff's very arbitrary, because I think kicking a lady is good, but the game doesn't think so. But in this game, it's okay, right? Because what happens is that this game kind of modifies itself according to how you play. So for example, if you're a really badass character and you have nothing but collateral damage, and because this game's set in old school London and you sink a few boats, and, you know, I don't know, drown some bar wenches, the game can be, that's cool, we'll play with you, and you'll have people interact with you such as NPCs. So for example, if you had someone who just was a huge pacifist and they were like, I don't like the way you're playing, they're just gonna betray you. Fair enough, push you into the water, walk the plank. Also, I mean, I'm just looking at this game and it really feels like there is no right or wrong way to play, and I really appreciate that. Now, because this is a stealth-based game, you know, and stealth sometimes it's very hard to get right. Well, there's one thing that I wanted to point out that I thought was very, very interesting. Thing is, when you alert an enemy, right? Now in most stealth games, we know some big ones, right? The enemies kind of forget about you eventually, which makes no sense because they're paid to do their job. They're armed guards. So if you kind of come up to them, they're like, what was that? And then, you know, like the alarm goes away and they're kind of like, oh, that's cool, I'll just do my thing. This one, they stay alert. They actually don't go to normal, they go to aware, and they can actually tell their friends around. So in that mission, they're gonna stay aware. So if you get caught, you can hide and you can wait for them to calm down, but you're gonna have to find other pathways, which this game has, to search for your mission, and that's gonna be very, very cool. Lastly, because it has role-playing elements, we have a huge magic system in it. Now the magic, we already know about the skills and stuff if you're reading online and you're following the buzz, but there's some things I thought was kind of just, this is way too cool. There's 2 magic skills that you have, and one of them is called Shadow Kill, and pretty much when you kill somebody, they turn to dust, so no one can find them. I think that's really thoughtful. And also this one called Devouring Swarm, where you summon rats. Now, this in itself is already kind of cool because you can be like TMNT and be the Rat King, but when I read about this and I asked right away, I asked my director, I was like, yo, does this mean you can actually summon the rats to eat the corpses and clean their bones? And it turns out you can. Now, that's really cool because there's nothing worse than having to kill a bunch of people and then they just pile up and then, you know, because it starts to smell and everything. Well, in this game, it's great because it has a body disposal unit, which is either turning them into dust or feeding them to the rats. And I think that's really cool. So anyways, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing tonight, Dishonored. This is going to be a huge title this year. A lot of people have been giving it love online, critically acclaimed already, and hasn't been out yet, but it will be. So get your hands on it. Let's get some stealth action. And now something sophisticated and erudite for our more refined viewers of Play Select, a brand new visual novel with the name of Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward, or known as literally translated to Extreme Escape Adventure, Good People Die, which is interesting because I think they should have kept this name because this game is perfect for being played on a long plane ride or anything that just really gets you to sit down and just really concentrate on something. Now it's full 3D and full voice acting, and the guy next to you sitting on the plane will be like, hey, what are you playing? And you'd be like, Good People Die, and that's gonna be so cool. Anyways, this game is coming out for the 3DS and the PS Vita. It already came out in Japan on February 16th to much critical acclaim, and now after localization, it's coming out in the US market on October the 23rd, and also in the European markets, it's coming out on November the 16th. Now, this is the spiritual successor, if not the successor, to 999, 9 Rooms, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, which is a famous DS game. Both games are highly, highly acclaimed through Famitsu, very high ratings, and it's only because the story is just amazing, because the whole point of it, well, if you like movies or mangas such as like Battle Royale, Gantz, you know, Cage of Eden, things where a bunch of people are locked in a room or locked in a situation where their life and death kind of depends on it, high stakes game, well, this is it, because in the game, you pretty much go through it talking to 9 characters. As the main character, you figure out whether or not you're gonna co-op with somebody or betray them, because the game rewards you with BP or Bangle points, and this is how you survive. If you don't get enough BPs at the end of the game, you get a lethal injection. So this is something that's supposed to be very, very thrilling. For the fact that you're reading it, kind of that old school choose your own adventure thing, but not knowing whether or not you're gonna betray someone, will that's gonna help you in the end of the game, or will it aid you through your quest? Well, it's something very exhilarating and thrilling. Also, there is puzzle elements in the game, and there's modes where if you chose hard mode, they're not going to give you any hints. Now, if you really fail at the puzzles, actually the characters will eventually tell you, well, this is maybe what you can do. But those who play escape games like this really want the intensity, definitely will play it in the hard mode. Anyhow, by Chunsoft, it's coming out very, very soon, so when it comes out, please get a chance to try this out to see if really good people die. Alright, so some of you may know that Dark Souls is probably my favorite game from 2011, and even pretty much till today. I still play this game, I love it on PvP. It's just so fun just running around and just, you know. Anyways, that being said, the PC version, the DLC for that, or at least what came with the PC version, the Prepare to Die edition, is finally coming stateside on October 23rd, US, and on October 24th is coming Europe and Australia. This is something that I'm so get into. It's called Autorius of the Abyss, pretty much the story of the famous Abyss Walker, or at least a story of the Abyss. This is the official name of the DLC, and this is what I want to get into. 10 hours plus more gameplay, new bosses, new spells, new monsters, new, well, not new, but more you died kind of things are gonna pop up, and this is something that I'm just gonna know life on, probably on those days. I make no promises. I may not film on that day because I really want to get my Dark Souls on, man. I love this game. More! Alright guys, time to announce the winner of episode 13's prize time. Now in this episode, I had you guys fill in the blanks for a quote from Darksiders 2. And Death says, "This is no place for a..." And the end of the quote was, "Horse, I have to go alone." So, Mr. Fabio William Maiolo, you got it right. You won yourself a copy. It was a lucky draw. I finally got this take right because your name was so hard for me to say. Oh, moving on. Alright guys, it's the time you've been waiting for, everyone's favorite time of the week, prize time, where I give you free stuff. Now prize time works very, very simply. It's been a while, so I'm gonna remind you. I'm gonna give you a question, you give me an answer, and if you get it right, I'm gonna give you some swag. Now a few things I gotta lay down. Give us their answers in the inbox, not the comments, the inbox, not the comments, and also specify whether or not you want this game for the PS3 or the Xbox 360. Now the prize of this week is Borderlands 2. Now, I'm getting so much into this game. When I was in Japan, all I wanted to do was play this game, and now that I have been, pretty much, no life, again, this game is just super fun, especially with your 4 players. Anyways, the question is like this. In Borderlands 2, who is Mad Moxie's third husband, and what are the 2 things he is good at? If you get that right, let me know. Anyways, this has been another episode of Prize Time and Play Select. Thank you guys for watching. And yes, indeed, I am in a Leon S. Kennedy jacket from Resident Evil 6. Ha ha ha.